Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it, you can find our podcast along with many other podcasts, along with articles of opinion, video segments, and much, much more. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, with exclusive contents for our Patreons.
Hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo. Sí, es un club que tiene una grandeza que no se comprende si no estás aquí dentro.
Usando uma magia única, benfiquista, que só nós sentimos assim. Por muitos desgostos que possamos ter, valores mais altos se levantam. E o valor mais alto que se levanta em termos futebolísticos chama-se Benfica.
Quero o Benfica intimidar o adversário. Quero o manto sagrado entrar com vocês em qualquer estado e assustá-los, pá! É isso que eu quero!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Doll Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças. It's been a while. Cristiano, como é que é, amigo? Tudo bem?
What's going on, Alfredo, David? Pleasure to be back here with you guys.
It's been a bit.
Tava Vic, não, foda-se.
It's been a bit. How long has it been? When was the last time we were on, Dave? Do you know?
I think, if I'm not mistaken,
November
22nd, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Yeah, the 22nd of November would have been the last podcast, because then that weekend, the World Cup started.
Dave,
So it's been about a month.
There was a rumor in the Luso Americano here in Newark, New Jersey, that David de Oliveira was spending these last 4 weeks
Where is this going?
perfecting his curling game. Any truth? Ooh, I mean, it was in the Portuguese abroad section.
I won't confirm nor deny. I won't confirm my allegiance either. I can curl for Canada. I can curl for Portugal. Whichever one comes calling first. I'm there.
Dave, are you any good?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Flavio Ferreira, welcome to the chat. Sheikh Marcelino and all you beautiful and ugly people in the chat. Thank you once again for joining us on the Benfica Podcast. It's finally a pleasure to be back. It's been a while, but Flavio does it echo. Okay, echo. We got an echo or echo my deco. What are you doing? What does that mean? Fala aí.
It might be an echo. Let me know. We'll figure something out. Mete o som no teu tablet.
Aquilo é ECU, aquilo pode ser like big echo.
Som aí no tablet, let me see.
Echo. Dave, fala aí.
Still coming in as an echo?
No, I think we're good.
No, that was me.
We'll figure something out. No, not on this end.
No, us. You said Dave.
Dave, you're on that. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. You guys probably won't hear, but maybe YouTube will hear it.
Yeah,
he's coming. Dave, you're coming in as an echo.
Well, I'll go to Dave.
Big echo. The Canadian internet.
No, you're good. I it's on my end.
Fala, Dave, fala aí.
There you go. Are you still an echo? You got to
Still
adjust
echo.
something on your end, Alfredo, or
This should be.
Big echo. The Canadian internet.
No, you're good. It's.
O gajo não fala.
Nah, I had to change something.
There you go. Are you still an echo? You got to adjust something.
No, we're good.
No
we're good
echo.
now.
No echo. Good
We're good
job,
now.
Dave.
We're all ready to
good.
start.
Dave's so good, you hear him twice.
It's been a while, so we gotta dust off some of these cobwebs, as I mentioned. But here we are, post World Cup.
Case. Post gay.
World Cup.
Case.
Something that happened in Qatar.
The curling World Cup.
The curling World Cup. I think that we'd all be remiss to completely skip over the World Cup and not at least mention something in the World Cup. Or
Yeah,
we
you
don't
just
have-
want to let everybody else know about my predictions. Okay, it's Jacques. Well, that's enough
What
talking for the World
predictions
Cup.
did you have? Oh, you said that Portugal.
I
was
said
gonna
we
win.
were going to win it all. And then, I mean, I didn't care for these. Let's
yeah.
talk about Benfica.
So, yeah, we're gonna talk about Benfica, but I just want to get that World Cup off our chests, I guess, and put a stone on it, dead and buried. Let's see. Where can I'm just gonna mention something real quick, right? And these are my feelings.
É tudo culpa dos portistas e é isso vai ser.
No,
I'm
I'm gonna say that Portugal lost this World Cup when they decided to renew with Fernando Santos after he lost the Euros. I think that's where you lose this World Cup, because if you bring a decent coach and that coach finds a way to convince Ronaldo that he's no longer the influential player, but yet has a role within this national team that could be very helpful to this national team, and gets the players that are world-class talent to play to their potential, I think that Portugal has a real shot of winning this World Cup. Now, with Fernando Santos ball, we all know what was expecting us, even though they kind of threw us for a loop in that Switzerland game. But, it is what it is. But my feeling, I don't think it's Ronaldo's fault. I don't think it's Santos' fault. I don't think it's any of the players' fault. I think it's the Federation. I think that the Federation needs to make an assessment after the last Euro and really make a move. Because it was easy for everybody to see that Fernando Santos was the man who wasn't the guy for this team.
You're talking about the same federation that hasn't said a peep ever since all this controversy. I mean, we're talking about a federation that once our national team head coach was found guilty in a court of law of hijacking our own IRS system or tax system in Port. They didn't say a word.
4.something million.
4.6 million. And then the guy comes out in an interview and said, hey, I did exactly what the president of the federation told me to do. Yeah. Which is, fraud. And nobody says a word. And then all this stuff for Ronaldo, nobody says a word. And then, but nobody, then they lost. No, ninguém fala. Isto aqui ninguém dá a cara. And it's just, hey, we figure if we hide, nobody talks about it. We don't have to explain. It's just, look, I couldn't stand Fernando Santos. I'll forever be grateful for the fact that we won that 2016. But that shit was atrocious. But I would have taken this World Cup the same exact way. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, it was atrocious to watch. There was a lot of people that wanted him fired after the following World Cup. And I got to be fair, right? I thought, I knew que aquilo não ia lá nenhum, but I thought that he at least deserved the chance to come back and defend this title. You know what I'm saying, Dave? He won it in 2016. At the very least, he could have defended his title in 2020. And then if he wins it, fine, we'll bring it back. If he doesn't, see you later, bro. We gave you a shot.
Yeah.
But they insisted on bringing this guy back. And I've had conversations with you, Alfredo. I've had conversations with a lot of people. And a lot of people call me crazy because, I am a guy that likes to react. And sometimes I need to take a chill pill, sit back, analyze. But no, I shoot from the seat of my pants instantly. And so people take a lot of shit I say. It's just my Zoom, gajo a falar alto. But at the end of the day, I had said I could not believe that one of the greatest winners in the history of of football, of soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo, and a guy that has a ton of influence on this national team and over the federation, I cannot believe that this guy is not making a bigger fuss, and I cannot believe that this guy is okay with going into battle for his last opportunity at lifting that beautiful gold World Cup. And he's okay with bringing this guy in charge. I could not comprehend. And so we're sitting here once again talking about mais uma oportunidade desperdiçada. And look, man, I don't know if I could point the finger at a lot of things that Santos did wrong in this World Cup, because he did things that none of us ever expect. We never dreamt. I don't think any of us here and anybody in the chat dreamt that he would do what he did. None of us thought he had the balls to bench Cristiano Ronaldo, and he did.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, wait a minute. So let's call a spade, right? And I really, look, in that last game against Morocco, there were some things that I maybe would have changed up. Yeah, but again, that was a screw up by our own mistake. and I don't want to single out any one player because that's irrelevant, but Portugal lost on their own mistake. And they just couldn't convert the other opportunities. End of story.
Yeah. Look, I don't think we need to get too much into it. We all knew what the problem was going into. But I think my man Fernando Santos said, man, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging.
Apago chat. We got parasites in the chat. Apago chat.
No, but, I've already mentioned. The problem is that the problem was, renewing with Fernando Santos after the Euro.
And you know what else, bro? We're talking about that one game. And this is the hard part for us Portuguese people to swallow, right? But at the end of the day, guys, Portugal just did what Portugal normally does. we're the dumbasses for expecting differently. You know what I mean? Portugal themselves. That was it. They just did what Portugal normally does. 2016 is the one that's out of the ordinary. Because everything else is right up the alley of what we normally do. We shoot ourselves in the foot.
It?
Yeah, we shoot ourselves in the foot.
But you can't look at 2016 and say we had an exceptional run. We tore through everybody.
But we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. That's what I'm saying. Normally, we shoot ourselves in the foot. In 2016, we shot.
We definitely made it hard on ourselves.
We shot. Dave, we might have taken off a couple of toenails, but we didn't shoot the foot. You know what I mean? You just got the toenail, but it was enough. Like, put a little duct tape on it and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And so that was the one that's out of the ordinary. This is more aligned with what we see. I remember when Dave, when Steve was still on a podcast, one of the things that these guys used to rag on me on and cry and laughter about was after a particular game against Paços Ferreira. I'll never forget, with Rui Vitória. And I come out here and I'm screaming and hollering, where the fuck is the urgency? I'm like, where's the urgency? And I'm going crazy. And these guys like, and bro, and going back to this game against Morocco's, it felt like that game again. There was no urgency. Like, I'm too pretty, I'm too sexy for my shirt.
I'm watching.
Bro,
I'll be honest with you. I'm watching these games and I'm missing Schmidt ball.
Oh yeah,
it's just the
100%.
way we and it's so funny because, and we'll get into it. I was talking to somebody about the tie against Moreirense. And somebody was saying, I've seen better football, Benfica playing better football than a lot of national teams on this World Cup. And you're right. It's right. It's right.
Sim, mas ouve lá. Mas, I mean, quem diz isso é malta que não percebe da bola. I'm sorry. Isso é cais como o Hugo Ferreira. Malta que não sabe nada da bola. Que é assim, bro, of course. Bro, the national team had... we all got together in the parking lot, and we're all expecting to go ahead and win a war. Bro, every team. They had a couple of days together. Roger Schmidt had a preseason, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. Benfica has played better football than, probably 99% of the nationals. Even Argentina throughout the tournament, they weren't impressive. They won it, but they weren't impressive at huge spurts throughout the tournament. They lost to Saudi Arabia. Let's not forget this. So, yeah, football was not extraordinary. But Roger Schmidt, who I love, by the way, had an offseason to train and implement his system. Now, the problem is we all know that if we'd given Portugal 6 months for Fernando Santos to implement a system, it'd be a bullshit system. That's the problem. We'd have no confidence in that system. But at the end of the day, you can't discard the fact that these teams is, it was a bunch of guys thrown together and let's go to battle and let's let our talent supersede and, come out on top. I think you have to take that into account, Alfredo, before, começar a falar que club teams look better. Club teams have time to gel and
I get it.
I
get it.
That's why I give my boy JJ. Remember, I used to give him credit, benefit of the doubt because of the whole COVID stuff. Remember, Dave?
How could we forget?
Yeah, but look, it is. It's behind us. Fernando Santos is down now. Now the big question becomes who's going to take over. So I think that the only wish that I have is that somebody will come in that actually will put the players or these generations, because it's just not the current generation. There's a lot of young kids that are good that are going to sustain this national team in terms of talent for a while now. So the only thing that I ask is that put a coach in front of the team that can pull the most out of these players' potentials.
And I know where you're going with that, and I disagree.
No, I don't have anyone in mind.
You did. You've mentioned it before. You've mentioned in the past that you would be okay with Rui Jorge being appointed head coach of the Seleção.
I think that Rui Jorge has not earned the respect of the senior players.
No, he did. He did. Rui Jorge earned that respect when these guys aren't driving Bugattis.
Right.
Once they start driving Bugattis, I got patakalad, man. I'm not listening.
You drive a little rabbit and that drive a Bugatti.
Man. That's the problem. Like, those guys, because at one point or another, 90% of the guys on this roster played for Rui Jorge. Right?
Correct.
Mas aquilo é tudo when everybody's on the way to the top.
It's like you're a high school teacher.
Those guys all want to work overtime, right? And they don't mind, but then when they get to the top, like, overtime, you snap at me.
It's like a lot of people were, there was discussion, and obviously we're not here to talk about the national team, but
we're only going to do a half hour.
But there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about Mourinho. There's a lot of talk about JJ. Can you imagine these guys being yelled at by JJ? How do you think that would go over?
I'm glad you brought up Mourinho, because Hugo Frey's in the chat over there talking gibberish, but he's also another one of those guys that's on cloud nine. Because I think that
he's on cloud nine. Why? Because they fired Santos?
No, the dumbest thing I've seen is people like Hugo, my brother. I love the kid to death, but people like Hugo come out and say, "Hey, man, brothers, going from Fernando Santos to Mourinho, it's crazy." I agree. It's the same type of, but comparing Fernando Santos to Jose Mourinho, bro. Come on. I mean, not that I want to be watching that eyesore, but compare. That's a guy that goes in the locker room and the players are instantly going to have respect. I'm not saying that's my choice, but you can't compare Fernando. Yo, we're going from Fernando Ball to Mourinho. Oh, come on, it's boring. I agree, it's boring, but bro, don't you ever compare.
There's a huge disparity there in terms of. I'm not saying that Mourinho is a guy that's still current. I think that Mourinho is a little bit outdated, but definitely
it's like that chick that in high school was hot. She's still hot now, but she don't got that crazy hair no more, and she don't really. But she's still hot. You're like, what
do you call it? I think that, and especially when you look at Mourinho and possibly an issue with his contract, right, where Roma most likely or probably
they won't allow him.
Well, they won't allow him. I could see Rui Jorge being the interim
until 24.
No, even until
24
he gets rid of. He steps out of Roma.
Roma's contract expires in 24. That's why I'm saying until 24.
Well, let's say at the end of the season, the federation decides to pay his clause to release him out of Roma.
I mean, they got to pay back the Portuguese authorities $4.6 million.
I don't know where they're going to find all this money.
They just paid Fernando Santos $7 million to walk away. They only made, I think, 11 or 13 mil from the actual participation in the World Cup.
They had to split that up.
Not all of it, but yes, they had to split at least 50% between the players.
There's a prize.
Yeah, but
you make first in the group.
It's not the United States. Only the United States has to split 90%. They're the only nation in the world that has to split 90% between the men's team and the women's team. Portugal doesn't do that. I think it's probably like a 60-40, because it's like, hey, you do the work, but I get paid. You know,
and pay me on the side, because I don't want to declare it to the authorities.
What do I do, Fernando Gomes? Do I set up an offshore account? Yeah, my daughter is a judge, and she'll be the owner. I mean, bro.
It's amazing, man.
How many times did I tell you? It is an absolute travesty. It is a joke that nobody. But this is sad, Dave. It's sad that the Portuguese citizens didn't revolt. Like, to them, corruption is so normal that the guy just finagled the Portuguese authorities. They took him to court. They found him guilty. The president was involved. The president of the federation was involved in the scheme. And nobody important. To them, it's like it's another day in the fucking, in the park. To them,
it's
they
not.
didn't even say nothing.
He's not the only one. I mean, you hear every month there's somebody that's corrupt, that's stealing from the government.
Mas não são treinadores.
I know, but in Portugal it's so common.
That's what I'm saying. To them, it's common.
So common. It's like, oh, okay. It's like somebody got shot in Newark today.
It follows Newark, bro. Follows Newark. Today, nobody got shot in Newark.
Okay, Patterson.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about my Patterson people. They know where I live.
My Patterson peeps.
No, but yeah, to them, it's so common and so normal that nobody was. Could you imagine Greg Berhalter, who, I mean, imagine that guy doing something. First of all, the American authority would have locked his ass up.
Yeah.
You'd been locked up.
You'd be coming out of the plane from Qatar.
And then imagine
The
this
FBI
dude,
be waiting for him.
showed up at the airport. No, they wouldn't let him on the plane. Like, yo, you're not getting on.
Nah,
Yet in Portugal, like, Fran Santos guilty of defrauding the government for 4.6 million euros. But it's okay. Tomorrow he's leaving to Qatar to coach the national team, and a gente esquece disso. I mean, come on, bro.
Well, it's like Marcelo when he was asked about, what about all these things that are going on in Qatar? Oh, now it's time to the World Cup. Let's just leave that behind. But it's just...
Mas ele tinha razão. Já aconteceu.
Já aconteceu, olha.
But it's kind of...
Tá feito, tá feito.
But it's kind of what I said here. I believe on one of our last podcasts, right? They had 12 freaking years. The World Cup was awarded to Qatar in 2010. And now 2 weeks prior to the World Cup kicking off in 2022, you want to make a big stink about it. You should have been making a big stink about it throughout the whole... Not now.
Yeah.
Bro, at that point, like Marcelo, I agree. At that point, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Anyone was going to do that was going to stop it. It was going to go through. So he's like, yo, guys, let's just enjoy it.
Yeah. Also, we can't be remiss here and just to close out this World Cup topic that we've spent way too much time. Just wanted to give a word in terms of Grant Wall. I know that Chris knew him. You knew him personally.
I worked with him a couple times this series.
And I traded when he did that Adu podcast series. I traded a couple messages with him. Really nice guy, super approachable. A guy that's really catapulted the sport here in the United States in terms of his quality writing. And just the publicizing of the sport in major publications. So it's really a huge miss and a huge loss for the U.S. soccer community for sure. So anyway, let's get back to the Benfica world, man. How many of you have missed Benfica? I'm sure a lot of you, right? While we're away, Benfica played 4 games, 3 of them for the League Cup and a friendly in Algarve against Sevilla. The League Cup was the federation, the league's brilliant idea to have games during the World Cup when every other league was stopped and leagues were on vacation. But the Portuguese league, hey, we're always at the forefront of modernized football, so we're just gonna have the League Cup. And I'm not just saying that because I'm bitter, because I'm not. Right, so Benfica played against Estrela da Amadora, 1-3-2. Then Benfica beat Penafiel 2-0 at Estádio da Luz after that, and they played Moreirense this past Saturday, and they tied Moreirense, but because I think it was the third tiebreak was on goal differential, they lost because Moreirense had one more goal.
Yes.
So had we not given up that goal against Estrela da Amadora,
the one that Morato,
I
was singling out Morato.
That was right at the last minute too.
Yeah,
right?
we don't want to single him out, but still,
but if we don't give up that goal, we're still tied. Then what? What's the fourth tiebreaker?
The fourth tiebreaker.
Who's got a better drainage system in their grass? My people from Minnesota love you guys. Long time. So what was the fourth tiebreaker, Dave?
I think by that it was gonna go goals
young players.
For.
Was a young player? Don't they have a stupid
and we had
rule?
Scored more
goals for. Yeah, I think it was.
But don't they have a rule of like young players? If you play more young players,
yeah, there's
that is that too. The average age of the squad.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
And then if that would have been the same, it's like pick heads or tails.
But I mean, for us to have the same average age, I mean, Dave.
Hey, look, the biggest thing for me is that Schmidt gave time to the guys that don't play as much.
Unfortunately,
but
sad.
But really, what was he supposed to do? Still, I mean, Grimaldo played, Rafa played.
He's not supposed to do anything. It just we'll forget all those other games. I want to go back to this game on past Saturday, and I understand the window hasn't been open, but again, we've talked, and I have from day one of this season in the podcast. I've talked about how thin we were in terms of options, and it's never bit us in the ass, and now it finally did. And even though we drew, we didn't lose it, but they bit, bro, the quality, and I'm hoping that come January, they go out and they sign 2 to 3 players, a striker, a winger or 2. We need different, bro, because the guys that are coming off the bench, the quality, and I understand João Mari was missing. Enzo, you're missing guys, but it doesn't matter who you're missing because at the end of the day, even if they're there and they're playing, your options off the bench are still them same mancos.
Hey, Dave, I'll ask you this. Do you think that these 3 games have been somewhat of an exam for a lot of these guys? Meaning, here's your chance. You have 3 games now to show me what you got, and then depending on how you perform, we'll have to assess what your spot is in the squad come January, or if we need to bring in somebody.
I mean, you can look at it that way, but it's really hard to tell how much importance this Benfica put towards this tournament anyways. I mean, they definitely went and tried to go through to the next round, but especially against these smaller teams there, I really don't feel like they really put the pedal to the metal per se against like Estrela and Penafiel, where really those could have been the games to bump up the goals totals, so that we didn't have to come to this tiebreaker in this last match, right? But guys who maybe didn't pass the exam that are might be on the way out, like I'm looking at a Chiquinho there, like when he's your number 1 option off the bench in this tournament, or he's starting games too, right? Like I think we need an upgrade over Chiquinho in that position, to Diogo Gonçalves as well. But I guess it really, the question comes down to how much importance the club put towards this tournament here.
O nosso amigo Chico Marcelino stole my thunder because I'm waiting for you to finish your point to address that situation regarding Draxler, because I actually took some heat on Twitter after Saturday's game because I made the statement that Diogo Gonçalves should have to walk back to Lisbon after the game. I thought that punishment was warranted, and some people came after me about Draxler, and I'm not defending Draxler in any way, but this guy, despite Draxler being absolutely useless, this guy had twice the game-winning goal on his foot and on his head. So that's why I singled him out. Not saying that someone else played better or played. It's just that the quality, bro. Draxler's intensity. I don't know what's up with that guy. I don't know if he's really hesitant and he's still, because I mean, you've had knee surgery, right?
No,
you did. I thought you did when you were younger. Okay, never mind. Dave, do you have knee surgery?
No,
but I hear I hurt my knee, but I never had surgery. But I hear that you're hesitant.
It could be, but you know what I've noticed with Draxler? That he's a lot looser. Before, parece que estava perro. As pernas não mexiam. You know what I'm saying? It's like his legs, his range of motion wasn't the same. And I feel he's a little looser now. But that intensity, man. But here's the thing. When the guy gets the ball, he knows what to do with the ball. He can pass.
There's times
ball.
You see him with passes. Aquilo não é para qualquer um.
No.
There's time, even in this game, you saw a couple passes. Like aquilo, that's
hopeful.
not for some manco. But I get it that I'm hopeful as well. But you got 6 months left.
Yeah, and
my fear is that when he finally gets the cobwebs off, right? Come on, okay, ciao.
She's gonna come calling, yeah.
No, not for yes, you don't want him. But it'll be like, oh, I'm fine. Hey man, thank you. Thanks for here's your medal. Ciao, hello. Peace out.
Yeah. I mean, there's even people talking about let's return him in January. I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, speaking of returns in January, my boy Seferovic, Galatasaray doesn't want him either.
They'll find somebody.
They didn't wait till January. They did that shit like November. They say, "Yo, we don't want people to get any ideas. Just go before we change our mind."
Let's send them to Grasshopper.
And he did say he's not. I saw he was very respectful of Benfica. He's very respectful of Porto. This is after the Portugal loss. When they lost 6-1 to Sweden.
His plans
to Portugal, I should say.
Portugal.
But he said, look, that, it's a beautiful club. It's a beautiful country. I'm grateful. But, yeah, I mean, Benfica's doing terrific. And, I'm pretty sure he'd return. But I think Salcedo. I mean,
oh, yeah. Because he probably had the conversation with Schmidt, and where Schmidt said, look, this is where you lie in the pecking order. So he was just probably open to him. So why would it be in Seferovic's interest to come back to Portugal?
I mean, but you can't tell me that Harris Seferovic today is not a better option than Peter Musa. That's not saying that Seferovic
You know
is
what?
a crack by any stretch.
And Pino
probably I'm
just
not
left too.
I'm
well,
sorry?
he hasn't left yet, but there's interest, right?
Who?
Or is it already confirmed?
It's I'm just
Pino.
scrolling through Twitter. He just
Botafogo.
no Coritiba on a
Curitiba.
2.5 year.
Curitiba.
Oh, they went to Curitiba.
Yeah,
When, today?
That's her.
just scrolling through Twitter. 9:30 was posted here.
Nice.
Who posted it, though? Was Steve Santos?
Yes.
Zach-
I mean, who
Zach
posted
Lowry?
it?
Who was it?
Zach. Lowry?
Oh, your buddy Zach Lowy. Lowry.
Lowy. Got nothing.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, if you have Musa on a long time injury, Seferovic might say, yeah, I'll go. But here's the thing, man. You're just taking away from Henrique Araújo, which I think perhaps should be getting more time, but maybe he's taking his sweet time in introducing him. But I've not been impressed with Musa. And I don't think Henrique Araújo has had enough time. Every time Henrique Araújo comes in, he plays with two guys up front. Different system. He's always being thrown as an extra forward. I don't know. But look,
Listen, Alfredo, I've said this in years past over players that I liked, players I didn't like.
you like him.
No, but
You like Araújo.
regardless. My point is that I've said it in years past. Regardless if I like the player, dislike the player, when you're a young player, just like Henrique Araújo is today, bro, it don't matter if you're playing a 2-man system, a 6-man. Bro, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. And my one, how do I put it?
Pet peeve?
One thing that, no, not pet peeve, but my one, this like sadness, my one desagrado from Araújo this year is that he's had times that I thought he should have put the ball in the back of the net. It's pretty so.
I agree
and
with
that's the one downside. And again, and that's why I'm just trying to be honest. Regardless if I like him or not, he has to take advantage of those opportunities. And again, I get it. You don't play a lot, whatever. But some of them, you're in front of the net, bro. You have to put him on it.
I agree
And
with
that's
you.
that's the only negative side to me about the kid. But he needs to, again, bro. You're a young player. Yeah. 2-man system or not, regardless, you have to show me. Look, Musa, who I'm not a fan of, has scored goals. He's playing alone. It doesn't matter. You get thrown in there, find a way. And Araújo has not done that.
Yeah, I see that. I agree with you. But Pino is great. I never understood at 32 or 33 how he signs a 5-year contract, whatever the fuck it was.
Benfica?
Yeah,
That
like
was
31.
when
he's 31. He signed him with a 5-year contract. Pino, like he was Jonas.
Nos fala mal.
Holy moly!
Pinho.
But we made some money off that, right? Or
Did
what?
we?
Off of who?
Pino.
How do we make money if
Or
we
no?
got him from somewhere else, Dave?
We got him from.
No, we
Maurice-
got him for
bought
free. It
from-
was a free transfer.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we make money from him?
Dude, we already
If we
paid that
sold
much
him.
money in salary
Well, you mean tonight?
Okay.
You mean tonight?
Yeah.
if we sell him.
I mean, his salary, was he making 700,000? He wasn't making much more than that.
700,000 a year or 700,000 a week?
A week full of not even in the EPL you do that. No,
A year? 700 a year?
he's probably I have all their salaries. I could look it up.
Yeah. Yeah, Pino will be good. I think that we're gonna have to see, but Rui Costa's already come out and said we're gonna be very, very careful and surgical.
And I hope
the
that they're
market.
not, bro. I
I
hope that they're not.
No, there's
Alfredo.
some people that don't. I was on the Benfica Independent Rescaldo this past Saturday after the game, and Picado doesn't think that we need a forward.
Bro, here's the sad part. And this is I'm speaking of Benfiquistas all over the world, from the heart. And if you don't speak English, get a translator. But it's very important what I'm going to say to you now. Right? Here's my thing about why I think Benfica needs to do. And again, when I'm talking about needs to go out there and strengthen themselves, I'm not talking about going and spending $100 million like we do in an offseason. No, but we need some crucial signings, because here's the reality. This is the way I look at it. We are playing in the knockout stage of the Champions League against a club like Bruges. And based on what we've seen from both of these clubs this year, right? From what we know about Benfica, Benfica's favorite. Benfica should win that game. If they handle their business, they advance into the next round. And then let's say they get a favorable draw again, because you still have the
There's
Tottenham.
favorable draws
Yeah,
after Bruges.
Do Porto could advance. You could face Porto. You have Inter Milan. Even Tottenham could be had. Leipzig. There are teams. Chelsea could be had. Now, you want to tell me?
But those teams need to get past who they're playing.
But Tottenham is playing Tottenham is playing. Who's Tottenham playing?
I'm bringing it up here.
Inter, I think.
No, Inter's playing Porto.
Okay, Inter's playing Porto. Exactly. So that's one.
Two
One.
sucky teams.
Not sucky, but doable teams that are at our level, right? Who's Tottenham is playing Leipzig or
Tottenham's playing AC Milan.
my team, Milan. I didn't want to rag on them. That's why I was saying somebody else. But you do. Now you have Bayern Munich playing PSG.
PSG,
You have Real Madrid playing
Liverpool.
That's four huge
So
teams.
out of those 4 teams, 2 are going to get it. Bro, what I'm saying is this, that you can find yourself beating Club Brugge, getting a favorable draw, and before you blink, you're in the semifinals with an opportunity to go to the final. And now you didn't strengthen yourself because you think, and now your options are fucking Chiquinho and Diogo Gonçalves. That's why you have to do it. I'm sorry, guys. You calling me great? Am I right or wrong?
You're 100%. I'm on board. You're 100% right. I don't think, even though like I've noticed a little bit of improvement from Chiquinho, like he's like an Andre Almeida.
Chiquinho is good for 2-3 games.
He's like an Andre Almeida. No, he's not over the top. He's not super good, and he's not super horrible. He's just that maintained type of guy. But Diogo Gonçalves, for the love of the Lord, man.
Bro, you have
Jesus.
You have to set yourself up just in case.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Now imagine you're at the doorstep
I agree
and you
with
didn't
you.
bring the ring.
But here's the other thing that you got to be looking at, right? So
I'm looking.
most likely, Enzo's going to be gone at the end of the season. I don't think Benfica lets him go in January. At the end of the
Who?
Enzo.
No, but I don't think Benfica has a choice.
What's your succession plan for
But
that?
Benfica doesn't have a choice, though, Alfredo.
That's
have a
next
choice,
year's
why?
problems.
No,
Doesn't have a choice. Why?
Benfica don't have a choice. If Real Madrid, Liverpool,
Comes with and beats the clause.
120, they got no choice.
I get it.
They're hoping that doesn't happen. But
But it will.
they know. No, I don't know if they will now. They know they're going to have to confront that issue come July.
But where's your secession plan?
That's July. They're hoping it
Why
doesn't
not now?
because now you start studying that opportunity. You're looking at a player like a Kamara that was rumored that Benfica had interest in, and the club convinced him to stay. He's a free agent come June. Benfica can start to go. He's a guy that plays in the center of the park. They're saying that Benfica's still interested in that guy. Benfica is lining that up, but you don't replace Enzo Perez in January because maybe, like, bro, you know you're gonna do it. You're most likely waiting on that 120 to come in to go get yourself a good player.
Yeah.
You're waiting for that money.
But I'm even thinking that, it might be hard to hold Gonçalo Ramos at the end of the season. So do you set yourself up? I'm just talking about secession. I'm trying to look ahead.
But I'm pretty sure but Alfredo, what you're saying makes 1,000% sense. But it has nothing to do with what I'm saying. What I'm saying to me, which is that stuff that Benfica's been planning since October.
Right. But
They're already planning.
and I agree. I agree with you.
But this Enzo Perez thing, Benfica never once thought, regardless how good Enzo Perez is, somebody's going to come in with 120 and take him away in January. Now, it's a reality that they might have to face now. But that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. The goal is to, hey, we'll sell him, but come July. But now we want to make a run. Just like, maybe he does what he did with us, which I don't think he will. But maybe he does with us what he did with River. Hey, as long as I'm in a competition,
No.
I want to,
Sorry.
right? Hey, but I'm just saying. So Benfica should be trying to add to this squad. And if you can go ahead now in January
Would you think
and
Emery
buy
can?
a player, hold on. If you can go now and buy a player to help you now, but hey, when Enzo's gone, this guy could fill in.
Yeah.
That's the perfect world.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a perfect world. But I think right now, I don't give a shit if it's a guy for 6 months. You need to be ready in case you're there. And all of a sudden, yo, I got through Bruges, I got through Inter Milan, and I got Tottenham now in the final, or Red Bull Leipzig, and you're like, in the semifinal, like, holy shit, guys.
Yeah.
And then you lose, and you played well. I'm not telling Benfica gets spanked. Benfica plays well. They discutiram jogo, but it just wasn't enough. You're going to live with that for the rest of your life. What if? Yeah. And I think Rui Costa should go out and do everything he can to give us a couple more options.
There's been rumors about Emre Can. Would you take Emre Can?
I called Hugo yesterday when I saw that rumor, and I said, Hugo, this is not good news. É aquele como um gajo está no mar e pega botas, the thunderstorm's gone.
Botas em terra, sinal de vendaval.
Yeah, that pá, isto é uma gaivota. I said, bro. And he said, what do you mean? I said, because the only way I see Benfica going to get him now, and it'll be a 6-month loan anyway, from the rumors, but the only way I see him is because Enzo's leaving. Because there's no way you go bring that guy with that salary, unless you're going to tell...
Sit on the bench.
Unless you tell him, Fiorentino, thanks for everything you did. You've been phenomenal this year. You run more than anybody we know.
I don't think that happens.
You run more than one of them dudes from Africa, the marathon guys. What is it, Kenya? You run more than a Kenyan. What? I'm just saying, the Kenyans, they're the best marathon runners in the world.
Why did you have to go compare it to a guy from Africa?
Because the Kenyans are the best marathon runners in the world. That's what I'm saying. You run more than a Kenyan. That's a compliment. They're the best in the world. Yeah. I'm not.
They're long distance runners.
They are.
They're known for that.
They're the number ones marathon guys. So thanks for running more than those guys. But essentially, and then there's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You call me stupid. Right? There's not much.
I never call you that.
There's not much that I could criticize Roger Schmidt for so far, right? And I'm not criticizing. I just don't understand. I'm hoping somebody, Sheikh Marcelino, you guys, I'm hoping you guys explain this to me. I didn't understand this Saturday, Benfica playing against Moreirense, right? And Chiquinho was playing in the middle, and Arsenal's playing on the right.
I didn't get that either.
And I know Arsenal's played in Porto on the right, but at the time you had Enzo, you had João Mario. But like now,
I didn't get that either.
Because to me, this whole thing about Enzo leaving, you still, in my opinion, it's a different player, but you have Arsenal that can step in. So again, we don't need Emre Can. We got ours. But now, if Arsenal's office is going to be my right mid, then I got to reconsider.
Yeah, no, I thought that was strange too in terms of the last game. I thought that that Arsenal would be in the middle and Chiquinho would be on the right.
Right. That's what I thought too.
That's the one thing I didn't understand.
Here's one better. You ready for this one? If not Arsenal's in the middle, then Draxler. But no, it was Chiquinho. Am I right?
No, you're absolutely right.
You got Draxler, but no Chiquinho.
When I looked at the lineup, that is the one thing I said, But then you can't tell right away who's going to line up where. But then when they were warming up, the guy from Sport TV was saying that Ba and Arsenal were passing the ball between themselves, and usually when you see warm up, it's usually guys that are in direct contact that do those warm up exercises. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, that doesn't sound right. But it's like in Schmidt we trust, right? But anyway,
but that's not a criticism. But I like it explained. Like, you have a Draxler, you have an Arsenis, and you're like, nah, we're good. Let's go with Chiquinho. I just did. And Arsenis playing right mid.
I think
I get it in the result at the Dragão to hold the result. I get in the tactical, but the guy is my right mid.
Yeah.
And I'm not criticizing Arsenis, but then some.
I'm criticizing Chiquinho.
I'm not criticizing Chiquinho neither. It's just like,
You're not?
It's just like, if I had to choose, you'd be my third option. Right? I'm not criticizing, but listen, for one thing is for sure, tu és o terceiro. There's no dúvida. But I didn't.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things. But I just hope that Benfica is intelligent in terms of the way they approach the market, because just to add Carden, Cannon father, I rather not have it. Let's get a guy that can make a difference, whether it's the first or second guy off the bench or is a guy that can compete with Ramos. For me, that is the biggest thing. I mentioned that to Picado. You don't need anybody to compete with Ramos. But to me,
because
it's
Gonzalo Ramos scored a hat trick against Switzerland, but then he came back to earth against Morocco. So which one is he? Which one is the Ramos? I mean, which one is he?
But kind of that is in a way, sort of what we've seen from Ramos this season, right?
But Ramos
He's still our best scorer.
But Ramos in that game alone against Switzerland, he scored 3, but he could have had 5.
Yeah.
That's the what. Like again, Ramos, the guy. Listen, he should be applauded. The guy doesn't stop.
Yeah.
The guy, his work rate is phenomenal, right? The guy's all over the field. And, yes, he scored that banger with the left foot that I think if he shoots another 99, he ain't hitting it again.
I don't even think that Summer was waiting for it.
I don't know. Summer was looking back like, where'd the ball go? Oh, shit, it actually went in.
He was waiting for the cross.
Yeah, but the cross. But I just think that we need – you want to tell me Gonzalo Ramos still your guy? You know what? I'm not going to fight you on it. But you telling me you're content with the options behind Gonzalo Ramos, bro?
I'm not.
You really don't want to win. You don't want to win competitions.
I'm not, and the reason why I'm not is because of where we are currently in the Champions League, and I agree with you. If we're out of the Champions League right now, if we're UEFA, and our main priority is the league, which has already been admitted that the main priority is the league, I'm okay with Ramos and Peramuza playing. But, like you said, you get past Bruges, you get a favorable draw, you're in the semifinals.
And there will be enough teams that you might get another favorable draw then. It could be a repeat of 2004 for Porto, because the only way, and I'm not ragging on Porto, but the only way a Portuguese team, the Ducks have to get in a row.
Yeah, things lined up. I get it. And like you said, here's the regret, right? Where we had a chance to put ourselves in a good position that if we are to advance and if this guy is going to elevate us to the next level, and now we're competing against the likes of teams that are maybe at the same level as us in terms of form, we have a good chance.
And, bro, and regardless of what you think and how you feel about Gonzalo Ramos, bro, every player has an off day. And let's say he's not having one of his better days. You're comfortable with going to Peter Musa in a huge spot? Come on, bro. Like, at worst, you're going to have a guy that's going to give Gonzalo Ramos the run for his money, which will make him better, right? It'll make him better. Should make him better.
I think so,
Competition.
too. I think so, too. And that was my whole point, was that let's bring somebody who can compete with Gonzalo Ramos, that can improve Gonzalo Ramos. Not that I don't think that Gonzalo Ramos is a slouch by any means of the imagination, but I think that if you have somebody that you're competing with on a daily basis, that is a guy that can make a difference off the bench or even as a starter, I don't know who that would be, Chris.
Alfredo, Dave, you guys have heard me on the here on the podcast over the years, bitching and complaining about Benfiquistas settling. They're not, bro. Benfiquistas should want want to build a real roster to go ahead and I get it, bro. Don't be just content with winning the Taça da Liga, right? Which we haven't done in 5 years now. Don't be content with winning domestically. You have opportunities like we do now, bro. Don't just settle. I've complained about Benfiquistas settling over the years. We have an opportunity to turn this season into a very special season. In football, anything can happen. And you need to be prepared in case that anything does happen. And right now, as things are set at Benfica, we're a little thin. And again, we're not criticizing. I know Bruno's getting upset because tell me a striker that doesn't miss a couple. That's fine. But again, it doesn't mean that just because every striker misses some, that I can't comment that the guy misses some. But we're not attacking the player. We're just saying that Gonzalo Ramos, he's still a very young player. He's inconsistent at times. I don't think we're being offensive to the guy. And I don't think you or anybody could tell me for a fact that, this is a finished product.
No, he's not.
So we need someone else, a higher quality than Peter Musa, that when Gonzalo Ramos is off his game, and again, it's not a criticism, but it happens to everybody. There's days guys aren't at the top of their game. And when Benfica is in a dogfight and Gonçalo Ramos not having his best game.
And you get half a chance.
And you need to go to the bench to freshen the legs and bring another option. Are you really comfortable with the option? And I'm not going to mention the name. Just the options. Are you really comfortable with the options that Benfica currently have available to them? And that's the question you need to ask yourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a very pertaining question, and I think it's very relevant because I think that in the Champions League, when you play at this high level, you may only get half a chance, or you may get a chance per game. And do you have confidence in Gonçalo Ramos that he could put that away? And I'm not saying that there's a guy out there in the market that is going to be the win all, above all, whatever, that he's going to be putting away those chances. But I think that if we bring a guy that can compete with Gonçalo Ramos for a starting position, we're in a better spot in terms of being able to compete with the bigger sharks. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. Quick question, in talking about sharks, Otamendi and Enzo, world champions. Certainly we've seen Enzo's stock go skyrocket.
I'm reading.
Otamendi, there's interest there's people in Spain interested in Otamendi, but I think he just, after Benfica, he goes back to Argentina, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look.
I was even thinking he might go in January.
The guy now is, not no more. Remember, I was a big, Dave, remember? I was hooting and hollering that Benfica should, because at the end of the day, it's not, again, it's like Gonçalo Ramos, this is not a criticism on Otamendi by any stretch of the imagination, but you have a 19-year-old Antonio Silva, you have a 22-year-old Morato, you have a 26-year-old Verissimo, you have a 23-year-old João Vitor, and at the end of the day, you combine all four of those guys' salaries, and they don't amount to what Otamendi's making. And so due to that fact and that fact alone, and not that fact alone, I got to mention another fact, which is Otamendi's 34.
Yeah.
Due to those two facts, it's just a numbers game. And it's not a criticism on the guy. It's just, look, I have a guy.
It's an investment in your future.
That's what it comes down to, bro. The numbers, you don't align with what we want to do. Because whether you like to admit it or not, guys, every team in the Portuguese league is a selling team, okay? And we live on developing and selling players. At the end of the day, if we don't have other options, then I'm par, right? I'm on board, I should say, with keeping Otamendi around and giving him an extension. But we do have other options.
Yeah, the salary is a factor, right, as you mentioned. But then it's just, the other thing is you kind of
but you hear rumors that Benfica is entertaining the idea of loaning out Verissimo. So then you have to pause a little bit and like, wait a minute. If Verissimo is going to be loaned out, that means Benfica is not, the guy hasn't really, recovered from his injury. Or Roger Schmidt. Remember, these guys came in there under another coach. Roger Schmidt's not a fan. Right? We don't know what we got in João Vitor. I don't think anybody does. Which then leaves you
so far he's been disappointing.
Which then leaves you with two center backs. Now, bro, we only got two center backs. Okay, Otamendi, let's sit down. Let's sit down and let's discuss. But if the other guys are healthy and Benfica can rely on them, you got four options. And it's just, I love you, Otamendi. Thank you for everything you've done. But at 34, 35, bro, a tua corda já não estica mais.
Yeah.
He's also somebody that played every single minute of Argentina's run too. So I think he's going to need some rest here. I don't know if he's getting some rest right now this next week in Argentina with the celebration that's going on, but he's going to need some rest here. So that's, at least we have some depth in that position to afford that rest there.
My concern, Dave, is not that he was stretched out in the World Cup and played all of them. My worry is now the celebration.
At some point, he looked like he was rolling something.
He was rolling something.
Hey,
right?
It was Mate, bro.
Here's the thing. Or now, right? If we know how the Tucano is, if they make him go to the freaking doping.
So you got Otamendi rolling something. You got Neymar sniffing something in the middle of a game. This World Cup, I tell you, has a little bit for all tastes.
And you got the salt bait trying to take selfies with Messi.
Don't even mention that guy.
Yeah, douche.
I'm glad I turned the
Waste.
game off.
Where was he even? Why did he even belong on a field?
He was doing the steak. Argentinos like churrasco. He was doing the steak, guys. Come on.
the asado.
The asado.
Yeah, but look, Enzo is absolutely exploded in terms of his stock, and I'm sure like some of the bigger clubs or most of the bigger clubs already had him in his radar. But what he's been able to prove at this level and understanding how much Argentina changed with him coming into the lineup.
Should have gotten a red card Sunday, but that's besides the point.
I don't know. I think this is our biggest another big sell for us.
I'm gonna tell you something, and Hugo, that bum Hugo
Hugo's
Ferreira.
here?
No, he's gone. He's washing the dishes. He just comes in, says hello, and he leaves. But Hugo brought this up to my attention, guys, because you know how I am. I don't follow a lot of people, right? But Hugo follows all the players and whatnot. And Hugo brought this up to me today. He's like, bro, I'm very concerned here. This is a bad sign. I said, well, what's the matter? He's like, Otamendi's got 6 million followers on Instagram. And Benfica tagged them. Benfica might have did 1-2 tags too many, right? They might have gone overboard with their posts. But nonetheless, Otamendi shared and liked and whatever the tags from Benfica. Benfica, in those taggings with Otamendi, they tagged Enzo right along, with Otamendi. And Enzo's yet to share, like, or react to any. And so Hugo's like, epa, aquilo subiu la cabeça.
He's overthinking, man. He's overthinking.
I told Hugo, the guy probably went from like 100,000 followers to, because he's got 4.4. The dude got like 3 million new follows.
This is not even verified.
He is on
He is
Instagram.
now?
On Instagram.
Oh, but not on Twitter.
That's a good question. On Twitter, he's not.
He's not.
But on Twitter, he's got like 10 followers.
I don't think about it that way, right? Everything I've been reading about Enzo, and this goes, before he became famous, right? Where you have that period where Messi was basically said, I've had enough with the national team. And he wrote an open letter to Messi as a young, unknown player. And it showed a lot of humbleness on his part. There's been other things where he has told coaches that I want to be somebody.
Yeah.
But there's a certain
Very
humbleness about him.
There's other examples. When he was at the airport, he said Benfica's a springboard. I mean, other examples of humbleness. You know what I mean? It
shows confidence in his part.
But if you go based on that comment, and you see that the guy like, epa, no te tom cagando, I'm going there because, and then if you want to align with Hugo's thought process, that look,
I think Hugo's overthinking it.
Okay.
I think he's over. What do you think, Dave?
Dave's been quiet.
Hugo
today.
overthinking? Yeah,
I don't know if there's something to read into that. I would hope not, but
I'm not reading too much into that, man. I'm not reading too much into that. I just think that he's definitely going to be gone at the end of the season. I don't think Benfica lets him go in January. And even that, I don't think any team is spending 120. He's already played in the Champions League, so he can't play in the Champions League, so he can't give his
I don't think that rule
contribute there.
applies anymore, though.
It should,
Because
man.
Luis Diaz played for Porto and Liverpool last year. There's something that's up with that rule.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might have mentioned that, and somebody corrected us. I don't know if it was Red Baron or who it was.
Was it? I'm sorry.
That you can't play for two clubs in the Champions League.
No, you could now. Now you
Oh, you
could.
can. Okay,
I
there
think
you
they
go.
changed it because we even talked about that when we mentioned João
Luis Diaz.
Felix coming.
And Luis Diaz, yeah.
Yeah. They did it. They changed that rule. That now I believe you can play for
Yeah.
multiple clubs in different windows, whatever.
So both, I think that Otamendi's going to do the right thing and go back to River and finish up.
But
River.
Otamendi, the one thing that strikes me about Otamendi,
You think in January, though?
no, I don't think
It's
not no more. Not no more. He's got the champion, bro. Benfica is on the verge of something special, and I don't think look. I was a guy that was saying Benfica should let him go in January, but I think everything's changed because obviously the players haven't recovered. But that being said, bro, Otamendi strikes me as a guy that's enjoying playing for Benfica.
Yeah, I think so.
You see his posts on social media. The guy is enjoying it.
I don't perceive it any different than that. that he's enjoying being
He's
in
just
Portugal.
won a World Cup.
He's enjoying the club. He's a leader in the clubhouse.
He just won a World Cup. If he can miraculously lift the Champions League with Benfica, then that guy sails off into that dude. I mean, so.
It just gave me goosebumps, bro.
I think he's pot committed, bro. I think he's all into this. I don't think he leaves in January no more. And I said he would.
He's a leader in that team, man. He's an integral part of the team. It's possible, but I think
if Benfica was out of the Champions League, if Benfica got knocked out, and he's sitting here today, we're talking about today, after winning the World Cup 48 hours ago, I think then I'm with you. But due to the fact that it's not like we're playing Bayern Munich next round.
Yeah.
Bro, we can do something. Every player in the locker room believes. Where am I going? This could be special. I don't think he leaves. Not yet.
Yeah. No, I see it. And especially coming off a high of the World Cup.
And Di Michele's the former Argentina center back, Bayern Munich, yada, yada, yada. He's one of the directors now at River Plate. And he came out last week and he said, "Oh, estamos listos. We're here. We're open arms waiting for you." And they're trying to get him to go. But again, I think the idea of a Champions League, and call me crazy, I don't believe Otamendi's ever won a Champions League.
No, because he would have been with City.
It would have been with City.
And City's never won. And then,
but he was with Valencia before. They didn't win it all.
They've never won.
Porto, they won the Europa League.
That he was there for that.
Yes. So this is
his last chance. Yeah, I get it.
Well, unless he signs with freaking a big team next year, which we don't know. He just had a terrific World Cup, but I'm just saying he's not going to turn his back on this.
Yeah, let's hope not.
On this challenge.
Talking about other Benfica players that were in the World Cup, and aside from Otamendi and Enzo, who obviously became very known and visible.
First time ever team in Portugal had two starters at a World Cup or
whatever.
World
champions.
Two starters winning the cup.
Current world.
That's what I'm saying. Winning. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not talking about Poga.
We're not talking about post World Cup winners.
Poga, who is 3 years removed from winning a World Cup, and then he played.
Benfica had Weigl too.
Yeah.
No.
Draxler.
No,
Draxler's one.
Draxler. Benfica's had. I don't know.
Weigl wasn't a part of those teams.
No,
2014.
Obviously, Gonçalo Ramos' stock increased significantly. Ba didn't get any much playing time with Denmark. Tony Silva, man, there was, I think, a Spanish journalist saying that Tony Silva as huge potentially.
Who's Tony Silva? Antonio Silva?
Tony Silva.
Oh,
Seaside Tony.
Tony Silva's my
Tony
mechanic in Newark, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tony Silva. Tony this babes.
You mean Nuto Silva? Okay.
In terms of, is just his posture on the field, his talent, is he's not rattled by the occasion. I don't know, man. And people have had him under their eye. I don't know. I think we definitely lose Enzo for sure. I don't think we lose him in January. But like you said, if somebody comes in and hits the 120,
and you notice Ancelotti's been very complimentary,
very very vocal about him.
Very complimentary of him.
Very very vocal about him.
And the rumor in England, but again, England, we got to take that with a grain of salt, which says there is an pre-agreement with Enzo and Liverpool.
Liverpool's got right of first refusal, I think is what I read. Who's in the middle of the park for Real Madrid these days?
Valverde, Modric, and Cruz. So and Camavinga and
Cruz is already
Chalkman, whatever the French kid. The French guy that they bought from Monaco. He just started for France in the world. Chalman, whatever his name is.
Cruz and Modric, you could say they're on their way out.
Oh, look, Red Baron just makes a good point. Cape de Villa, that's right, the lefty that couldn't play at Benfica, but won 2010 with España.
Yeah, and who's the coach that said him? JJ.
Was it JJ?
Yeah, I think
so. JJ Saab.
JJ Saab. O homem já não dava, estava todo podre.
JJ had the hard drive. Oh, you forgot about the hard drive with the players?
Yeah, I love seeing those JJ videos of him getting out of that ice bath.
Bruno Gil Rodriguez is saying, latest news is Liverpool has a deal for next season. I don't see. Look,
Yes, they have an agreement. I don't know about a deal.
the Fenway, whatever dealers, the
With
John,
LeBron.
whatever.
LeBron James.
No, but they LeBronski. But they there's a rumor that Henry's whatever they're looking to sell.
Sell the club.
I don't think they're going to be investing $100+ million on any players. I understand there's a lot of noise, but when you try to sell, you're not bringing on more debt or you're not taking away money because your objective of selling is making money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right,
But look, would he fit in perfectly? Yeah, I mean Jordan Henderson, whatever. I mean that guy could play over there. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Baron's saying we
Bra-
lose Enzo,
yeah.
Gonzalo, and maybe Antonio
Quando?
in the summer.
I don't know. Então te perguntar a ti, tô perguntar a ele.
I'm guessing it's in the summer. I'm gonna say.
They're supposed to tip any offer till it's tip.
Yeah. No, Liverpool, from what I read, Liverpool has the right of first refusal, meaning that if Benfica says, we got an offer for 125 million,
Can't be. It's 120 will be the max unless they,
whatever.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna over, bro. So it only costs 120. I'm not offering $5 million more.
But what I'm saying is somebody could say,
Dave,
Benfica, we'll give you 125 and you swayed the player to come to our club, right? That could happen.
That's
Now-
not the
now,
swing,
Chris, how
bro.
did
The
it-
swing is the contract offer. Amigo, olha aqui.
But I think that
It's like Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho went to a negotiation with a club. I don't want to mention names. And they're talking numbers, and all he's worried about is, tem mulher? Dá pra sair com mulher? That's how they swayed him. You know, that's all he was worried about. So, bro, come in 120, and then you're like, yo, let's work our magic. But yeah, I don't think Alfredo just got to leave bater mais. That's maluco. Because at the end of the day, aquilo é sell price. Aquilo chegas ali, you trigger that. But
how does Benfica or how does Liverpool get involved in this? Like I don't like.
with
Does
what?
this happen right off the bat when Benfica is signing Enzo that they make an agreement with Liverpool, or
No,
is this some
no.
spin-off
It's
from
recent. It's
Darwin?
recent.
No. This
it's recent.
calma. I'm pretty sure if they do indeed, and I'm taking Alfredo at his word, if they do indeed have the right of a first refusal, that goes back to the Darwin deal. That goes back. We're gonna buy this player, and whatever guys you have coming, we'll hit that $100 million, whatever, and whatever players you got, we're gonna get first refusal on it. It's kind of like, you sell a player, like the players that remember Benfica loaned Todibo from Barcelona, and then Barcelona will get the right of first refusal on some prospects in the academy. Yep. It's deals that these guys make within one another. It's not all of a sudden like, hey, by the way, I want right of first. What do you mean I want right of first refusal? What are you giving me? This is negotiate. You know how it is. In order for me to agree to something, you got to give me something. And what's Liverpool going to go, hey, the guy's a tremendous player. Listen, let me get right of first refusal. Okay, yeah, sure. Come on, Benfica's not. It's not going to work like that.
Yeah. No, I think that there's an agreement there because maybe Liverpool doesn't think anybody be able to hit the clause or to match the clause. I don't know.
Why? Chelsea's non-existent?
Okay, so let's say, for example, Chris,
City?
and I'll ask you this because you may know this better than me.
I said nada.
If two clubs come in and they both offer 120
Then it's
million,
up to the player. He chooses where he goes.
can Benfica sway the player to go a certain way because it's more beneficial for Benfica?
But how is it beneficial if they both get 120? I mean,
Let's say there's bonuses in there,
but there's no the one.
but I'm saying like
Bro, when it comes to a deal,
Liverpool wants to make a difference.
when it comes to a deal like this, Alfred, it's very simple. It's 120. I'm not gonna come in and I'm gonna give you the 120, but I'm gonna give you 60, and then I'm gonna give you the other 60 over 3 years. Right? That could happen. And then you come in and you say, I'll give you that 120, but I'll give you 90 million up front. I'll give you 30 million over the next 2 years. What's a better deal for Benfica? Then I can see Benfica saying, yo, go with that guy.
Yeah, the reason why Rui Costa went to Fiorentina and not elsewhere.
See, but
Barcelona,
but those are the types of deals that happen.
Right.
Doesn't it? Now, I don't know how I don't know how that would work in terms of swaying players and like the one part that I struggle to understand in this whole scenario, again, taking you at your word, that Liverpool has the right of first refusal, which is if Real Madrid comes in with 120 up front and Liverpool comes in with 120 up front, bro, it's his release clause. There is no.
What if Liverpool comes in with 125?
Why would they?
Right of first refusal.
But the trigger,
Let's
it
say you buy-
triggers that one.
I
Bro,
understand.
you put a key in the lock and you twist it twice in it open. You're gonna twist it. You're not gonna spin it 3 times.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say you found this house.
But that's a house. But that's a house. That is not contractually. Like if you find a house
I know
that's
what you're saying.
beautiful
I know what
and
you're
you come in at 400,000 and whoever comes in with 400,000 first takes the house. That's what it ain't 405, 410.
Benfica, if both clubs come in with 120 million, Benfica could still decide who gets him.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Bruno's saying it's the player that chooses the
It's the
club
player.
after 120 is triggered.
Exactly. Once you put in the 120, it's on the player.
So let's say
But now-
Liverpool. Humor.
That's why I said I don't understand the right of
Humor me.
first refusal.
Humor me. Let's say Liverpool hits 125, and Benfica says these 5 million are for you, Enzo. If you go to Liverpool,
You're living in fantasy land now.
I mean,
I'm just throwing things out there. I'm just.
I mean, look, Alfredo, that could happen, but again, but they could do that. They could give them the 120 and then give them a $5 million signing bonus. They're just bidding against themselves. Why would you bid against yourself?
But let me ask you this: what club would he prefer to go over Liverpool? PSG?
Epá, não sei, a última vez que eu tomei café com ele não perguntei. I mean, PSG. No, from the rumors, the internet whisperers, from what I gather is, which I don't understand why, but Liverpool's at the top of his list.
I would think so.
If I'm Enzo Perez, Real Madrid is at the top of Enzo Perez. Claro que Enzo Fernandez, Real Madrid is at the top of my list because language, culture, I don't have to adapt. I'm playing at the biggest club in the world.
He knows that
They
he has
can
support
afford-
around him.
Yeah, I mean, why?
It's huge.
Unless he speaks English fluently and the whole, and I get it, playing in the EPL is a dream, but the bigger dream is playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So
No, it's when you go and play for a club that the club will invest every year to maintain the level of that squad. It's not like you go somewhere and say, hey, if you need me to renew, you got to put players around me because this is freaking bullshit. When it comes, Real Madrid is the absolute pinnacle.
and again, just because the language, there's no barrier. The culture, it's a lot closer than. I mean, the guy's gonna go eat pot pies in Liverpool, or he could go and eat carne asada.
Shitty-ass weather.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why. And plus, you have Valverde, who's Uruguayo. You know what I mean? I don't know what's the allure to get him over to Liverpool. I mean, the only thing I see is the EPL. And again, anything you can mention about the EPL or any historic team, man, United, Liverpool. Okay, bro, two parts like chess. You come in with the king. I got Real Madrid. Okay, you lose. Everybody else loses. You get what I'm saying, Dave?
Yeah.
All
right.
Red Baron says if they give 120, I don't give a shit where he goes.
Yeah, that's true. You could go to freaking Nellis.
Here's something I'm gonna tell you guys, and I'm surprised none of you guys on the chat have actually mentioned this. If I'm Benfica, when Enzo arrives next week, I sit him down, I'll bring him a box of prestige nata, and I tell him, Enzo, here's the situation. Here's $500,000 cash, 500,000 euros cash. We're gonna, I don't know if he's getting paid. Let's just for shits and giggles, he's getting paid $1 million. That's his contract. $1 million. Look, we're gonna raise you to $1.5 million or $2 million, right? Which means you're gonna get your checks are gonna be much bigger now. But look, we're gonna raise in order for you to agree to give you $1 million more. We want to raise your clause from 120 to 180, for example. And now Benfica dá para esticar and get more. I'm telling you, Benfica has probably thought about that, and they will think about that the minute he arrives, and they'll try to talk to him. I would not be surprised.
Benfica knows he's going for a lot of money, period.
Bro, would you give me 5 million euros if you're going to make 80 million more?
Yeah. I would.
Ciao, Laura.
I'd give you 10.
But guys, this is, I think we've mentioned it in the past. This is this is like the butterfly effect. If Enzo wouldn't have played a single minute for us
If
up until this
Vélez,
point if it wasn't
for Vélez.
Thank you, fellas.
Think about that. We would have just been coming into Enzo Fernandez
Dave,
right now.
Well, think about this, Dave. Think about this. Think about what we could do with this type of money, right?
Think about
that we
the
didn't do-
academia that
that-
Vieira could build. Oh,
that we
my bad, he's gone.
that we didn't do with the João Felix money.
Bro, João Felix money, out of that 120, we got like 30.
No, we got money.
but we had all the frango
we just didn't
kings.
spend it
We had
right.
all the frangos.
Estás a ver, olha.
We didn't spend it
E
right.
aumentar a cláusula. See, look, that's what I'm
No,
saying, Red
I
Baron.
get it. I get it.
I'll
There
give him a
has to
million
be
more.
there has to be a conversation, and I think the player will be sympathetic to the cause. If that's what Rui Costa needs. Because,
You think? No, not Enzo.
Here's
I don't think
I-
so.
well, yeah,
Look
Dave,
how he
look,
was
Dave,
speaking to us about when he first got
no,
here.
no,
I
no.
don't
But
think
he
he has
can't
any.
be ungrateful because at Benfica not giving him the visibility that he's had in a Champions League, he probably it doesn't have the same role that he had if he's still at River.
But
I don't know the way
maybe-
this
maybe not.
guy's mentality. He was hoping a bigger club would
Yeah.
come and pick him
Dave,
up. I think that's
fact
that's
of the
his
matter is,
mentality.
he blew up at the World Cup.
Well, City said that they could have gotten it for cheaper than what Benfica got him for.
So why do they do it?
I don't know. I don't know
We don't
why
own
they didn't do it.
Sheik was saying we don't own 100%.
River owns
No, we don't.
25%.
We don't. You're right. So the most money that we could get for him, the better. Anyway, let's wrap this up. It's been a while, but we're going on an hour and 20 minutes.
That's right. They paid $10 million up front, and then it was 18 total, and 18 in total,
Yeah.
and they're gonna pay the other remaining 8 in prestações.
Yeah. Next up for Benfica.
payments.
Next up for Benfica is the return to the Tugão against Braga. The game was originally scheduled for the 28th, and it got moved to the 30th. Now there's a whole problem with Braga
Marathon.
with the São Silvestre, which is like a
Sylvester Stallone marathon.
It's the São Silvestre is a race that they run at the end of the year. That's what it's called. I don't know.
But they
yeah.
want to move it back to the 29th.
Yeah, they want to move it. They've had it scheduled since the 21st, since 2021, and there's this whole. I just don't get it. What's the big deal? What's the big deal that you have a game and a race at the same?
Alfredo, you don't. I'll tell you the big deal. I'll tell you off the year. I'll tell you the big deal.
Okay, vamos embora então, Manel. Next week, I don't know if we're back next week because the game isn't until the 30th.
Nah, enjoy Natal.
Yeah,
We need another break.
another break, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Christmas time is always busy. There's always traveling. There's always here and there. So look, it just from our family to your families, Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope that
Happy
all of you
Hanukkah,
have
all that
plenty
good
of
stuff.
health during this time.
Don't
And
let Kanye hear me say that.
anyway,
But it's a good thing he didn't listen to the Benfica podcast.
yeah, that's all. That's all we have. Dave, you wanna say some parting words?
Dave's gonna say something in French because he's from up there in Canada.
Oui,
Go ahead,
oui.
Dave.
No, I didn't. French. I haven't spoken French since grade school. No, good to be back on tonight, boys, and hope everyone has a good, safe, healthy Christmas, and enjoy the food and the drinks. And we'll be back here, I guess, in the new year.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
happy New Year!
We're
as
gonna
well.
try to get Steve Santos.
Yeah, keep trying.
We're gonna try to get him for one podcast.
Keep trying. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot, Chris. Ho ho ho.
Arrivederci. Happy Natal, all that good stuff. Don't eat too much bacalhau.
Too much bacalhau.
Couves.
Nobody's buying bacalhau the way you do.
Couves don't volta aos intestinos. Cuidado.
Cuidado.
And all the best to you guys and your family, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here. We probably won't talk to you guys until next year.
Yeah, because the game is on the 30th.
Or
Which
29th, most likely. But 30th, 20th. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
We're still on. Just
still
to
live.
give you that one out.
I don't know what the hell happened. But, yeah, all the best, man. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
All that good stuff for you guys.
Take care.
All the best to your family. Grande abraço.
Take
And
care,
thank you,
everyone.
Thank you.
Later.